As this whole pandemic thing continues, there's more and more call for people to wear masks in more and more places. Now, you'll know from previous videos that I got myself some of those ones that you pull up over your face, like the ones I'm probably showing you with a clip over my face now. But Amy has an alternative solution in the form of a sewing kit. You've been making your own.
Yeah. She's
been making her own masks. And in this video, we're going to show you how. So what have you actually got here? What is all this stuff?
This is mine and Lucy's sewing kit.
You have to share a sewing kit?
Well, it was my box, but then she acquired lots of stuff and had no home for them.
Okay.
And then I took it out of the box. So this is basically just my
So it's
stuff.
your sewing kit?
Yeah.
With some of Lucy's stuff in? Okay.
Yeah. So I have lots of thread. I'm missing one, but oh, there it is. This is the thread I'm using at the moment.
Okay.
We have lots of needles. We have lots of pins. A seam ripper because...
A what?
A seam ripper. So
What is a seam ripper?
This is for if you sew like something together and then you realise, oh, it's not supposed to be like that. And you just get this and you rip out the...
It looks like, to me, if I saw that lying around, I would assume that was something to put corn on the cob on.
I can see how you think that, but no, that's not what it is. It just makes it easier for if you mess up and you need to get rid of some thread that's already in the fabric.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a crochet needle. This is not supposed to be in here, but I use it to sharpen my scissors.
I see.
Which you probably shouldn't do, but I do it anyway. Okay, good. I have some chalk, 2 different colours. It's good.
Is this all the stuff you need to make the masks? You need all these bits?
I mean,
Is this a mask making kit?
This you don't need.
What is that?
This is the crochet needle that I was on about because I use it to sharpen my scissors.
Right. Okay.
This is optional for when you're trying to get the right amounts of fabrics with the templates. There's multiple ways that you can cut out the templates, and one of them is to draw around it with the chalk onto the fabric.
Okay.
And then we have the templates.
Where did you get the templates from?
So I literally just typed into Google face mask templates and loads of different options came up and I just printed out the first one I saw.
Okay.
I'm sure you can...
Have you still got the link that we can put
I
in
do.
there?
You
All
can
right, we can put the link in the description
Yeah.
there.
I
Excellent.
can send it to you. So there's lots of different templates. This is all for one mask.
Okay.
And then I just have multiple different pairs of scissors and
Awesome.
some ribbon for the face masks.
Splendid. So, stage 1, cutting fabric.
Yeah.
Where do you get the fabric from? Is it just stuff you had lying around?
It's an old pillowcase.
Ah,
And then there's some fabric over there that I cut from the lining of an old curtain.
splendid.
So you can just use whatever fabric you find.
So I could use my cool t-shirts.
You could use your cool t-shirts if
Excellent.
you'd like. Yeah.
So I could have a Batman one, is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Excellent.
Are you gonna put me on that to get you a
You're going
Batman?
to make me a Batman
Okay.
one, yeah. I'm probably going to buy some t-shirts
I was
specifically
going to say
so
you
you
have
can
to
make them into
remember,
masks.
you can't then wear that Batman shirt. Just have like a little hole in it.
Yeah.
Somewhere you've done that.
So, you got the fabric.
I have fabric, yes. I have 2 different fabrics because only 2 of these patterns are going to be seen.
Okay.
So it's pointless using up all your nice fabric for it just to be on the inside. So that's what I use the plain curtain lining for. Use for the bits that's going to be on my face. So simple as you pin the template to your fabric and then you just cut around it. I find this much easier than doing the chalk because I just kind of get a bit annoyed. I don't like cutting the fabric. I cheat a little bit and enlist my mother and I just get mum to do it. So she's very kind for doing that. But it's much easier if you have more pins in it to kind of keep the corners down. This is a very long process of just putting pins in. Which is also why the paper looks a bit...
Because it's been used so many times.
Okay, that was And then you simply cut around it, which I'm really bad at. Hang on, these are not good scissors. These are your scissors.
So these are my garage floor scissors that I found on the garage floor.
Yeah, I'm really bad at cutting it.
Okay, and then you just cut around the shape.
Yeah.
So now you've cut that so well the fabric has changed into a different pattern.
I cut it so well.
And you've got all the different bits cut out that you need.
Yes, so you need 2 of each, but it comes with enough, so because they're slightly different, like the ones of the same pair, obviously they're facing different, so they're just different.
Okay.
So the fabric, if you put it against it, if it's the right one, it should fit like that.
Huzzah!
Yes, so you need to make sure you have 2 of each, different pattern. And then you don't need these. Well, if you're making another one, don't get rid of them. But, you don't need those anymore for this process.
And what is the process?
So the first thing you do is you get your pattern fabric and you put the front of them together like that.
So face to face.
Face to face, that was a good way to put it. Put those other ones to the side, you don't need them right now.
What are they called? They're just all the other ones, are they?
Yeah, just the other pieces of fabric for it. So you now have these face to face and you want to pin it. If you're going from the instructions, it will say like side 3, because it also has the numbers on the templates.
Okay.
If you look at it, that's side 3. You want to sew all along here.
Yeah.
So they're together.
Okay.
Okay. So I am going to do that, if I can pick this needle up. I do not know what this technique is.
I think it's called sewing.
You do know there are multiple different ways you can sew something.
Now, if you were a fancy pants who had a sewing machine, would you sew in your machine this part?
Yeah.
Okay.
See, that's what I use for the other parts of it, but it's not my sewing machine because Lucy broke mine.
Well, then you should get hers. I think that's how it works. She breaks yours, hers becomes yours.
She claims she didn't break it. I'm going to say she did, because otherwise I don't know what's wrong with it. Right, so I have sewed all along, but because I'm not using a sewing machine and I want to make sure that it's nice and secure so it doesn't start to break or come apart, especially once it's been washed, I go back over. So I've reached the end and my thread is still in, and I just go back through all the gaps in between, so when I'm finished it's just a long line of thread across the top.
Splendid.
Yeah.
So that's all sewn together?
Yes, I have sewn it together. Not the best at sewing, but it does get the job done. It
Splendid.
Works. Yeah.
Now what?
Now, the next step, you get mouth 1 and mouth 2, and you put them together. See, there isn't really a front.
Okay.
But if you look at it as if the face mask is made, like that, and then you put it together, the bits inside are the front pieces, and we are sewing it inside out so it can be flipped.
Right, so which sides of that are you sewing now?
So, what do you mean?
Well, you've got those two together. Where are you going to sew?
Oh, along line 3 again, so this
along
one.
that side, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Splendid. So that bit's sewn together.
Yes,
What is the next step?
Hang on.
Oh, my apologies.
I did the same thing I did here, so I went over it again. So if you were to do that, you can see it's quite secure.
Splendid.
And it's all good. So if you're doing this with a sewing machine, it would be much faster, and you'd know it was definitely secure. But I don't have one, so I'm not doing that. But next step, what side is it? Along line 5. What you're going to do is you're going to hem both sides. Do not sew it together.
Okay.
I made that mistake the first time because the instructions were not the clearest, and I was like, oh, you want me to sew that one too? That doesn't make sense, but I'll do it, which is where my seam picker came in handy.
I see.
What it wants you to do is to fold out about 1/2 inch and pin it, and then sew along so it has a good straight edge. Okay. And because that, obviously, you'll be able to see that when you're putting it on. So it's nice, you know. But what I also suggest is using a colour that's opposite to the colour of your fabric. So black thread on white fabric, because then you can see your stitches, and it's just easier, especially if you're doubling over. It's just easier to make sure you're putting it in the right place.
Splendid.
And you do that on both edges.
Okay.
So these ones. So also, if you are sewing by hand, I know it can be hard to make sure you tie off close to the fabric so there isn't this hanging bit. So what I suggest when you're sewing it is starting through the side that you're not going to see. So if you look at it from the front of it, you're not going to see any hanging pieces of thread and it's just going to be a straight line. So I start through this side. So then the hanging piece of the thread is over on this side and you can't see it when it's done. Right, so I've hemmed either side. Should look a little like this. And now this bit can be confusing.
Okay.
Because it confused me. So you get the cheek 1 and cheek 2 pieces, and you get side 6, so this side, okay, and you place it, so this is the outside of it,
Yeah.
so that's the bit that's going to touch your face,
Okay.
and you want it on the outside. You get side 6 and you line it up so each side is in line with this piece. So it really varies to how well your cutting was, but it doesn't matter if your cutting was bad. So you then get a pin and you pin it to one part of the fabric, so you leave the bottom part for now. So you just pin it together. It's easier when you're trying to sew it. And then what you have to do is then sew it onto this one part of the fabric along this side, okay?
Only on top?
Only on this bit, okay?
Do you do that top and bottom though? Or is it there and at the bottom, or is it just there?
It's both sides, so both sides, but only there.
Only on that bit, yeah.
So you don't have to go all the way down, you just need to do it so that that piece of fabric is attached to these pieces on both sides, okay? So I'm going to do that. So I sewed it on both sides, so the inside should end up looking like this.
Okay.
They should not be able to fall off, but there should be gaps in there, okay?
Okay.
So that bit's done. And then the last big bit of sewing is attaching these two together.
Right, and how do you attach them?
This is a little bit, got to like concentrate so you don't mess it up. So the best thing to do is open it up so that you can see the front pieces of both. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put the front pieces facing each other together. Like.
So front pieces facing each other? Okay.
So the whole thing should be inside out. So whatever side you look at, it's the wrong side, if that makes sense. So you want to make sure that you push the seams together. And then once I do that, I usually pin them together like that. Which is a lot of fabric to go through, so it's like... Because then that way it stops the seam from coming apart.
Okay.
Because then you've got to try and faff together and make sure it's like all in row again. So now the seams are together, so it's just easier. And then all you have to do is line those up, pin them together, and sew across there and across there, leaving these two bits open.
So sew the top and the bottom, but leave the sides open?
Yes.
Okay. And that's what you're doing now?
Yes.
Splendid. Well, much later, as you can see by the changing light conditions in here. How long did it take you taking breaks out?
Oh, I forgot again.
Must have been about 2 hours in total.
It took me about 40 minutes to do those.
Let's have a look at the finished bit, or the finished for now bit.
Yeah, this is the nearly finished section. So it's inside out.
Okay.
But you'd put it on like that.
Okay, why is it inside out?
Because so this is Lucy's job. Because I can't use the sewing machine. So when I go up to Mum's, I can't remember if this one is ribbon or hair bubbles, but she's gonna
Okay.
put the ribbon on.
And you'll film that, and that'll be coming up in a second. And then you'll show us it being turned around and the finished thing on your face.
Yes, but what I can do is show her attaching both ribbons and hair bubbles, because I have another one that needs...
Cool. That would be splendid.
You can see both ways.
Right, well, we'll cut to tomorrow without me there. You two doing a bit of filming without me. Hideous.
So you want to measure 4 pieces of ribbon to 50 centimetres each, and then you are going to want to thread the ribbon through the little gap. I don't know how to explain that. You can probably see better than my explanation. And you want to pull it up to the top and then pull it as close to the stitching as you can and pin it in place. And then you're going to want to do the same thing on the other side of it. Just making sure that you are keeping it as close to the edge as you can, so that the ribbon isn't in the middle of the mask. You want it to be at the 2 edges. Just pull it on up and pin it in place. And then you're going to want to use your sewing machine, or you can just hand stitch it and you want to stitch all the way across. I got Lucy to use her sewing machine because I don't actually attach the ribbon, I get her to do it. But you can just as easily hand sew it. It would work exactly the same. And then after you have done that side, you want to do the exact same thing on the other side and just flip it the right way, and then you've done your mask. It should all be good. The ribbon should come out and it'll all be done. It should be attached as well.
Splendid. So now we should just be able to throw to Amy for one final clip, which is going to be her showing us a finished mask, which I'm sure she's doing over my head right now. And then we're finally finished with this video that we've been working on for about 3 weeks. I hope it was worth it. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, if you found it useful, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for us. Subscribe to the channel for all sorts of videos and apparently sewing tutorials now. And thank you very much for watching.